Thanks for joining us for another episode of Retail War Games. Today we sit down with Rob DeMartini, CEO of Purple.
Did you ever know of, Paul Beck?
Oh, sure. I know Paul Beck very well.
Do you really?
Yeah. He was my boss for a while.
He married my cousin.
Oh, what a small world.
So, yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, back
Yeah.
at P&G?
Years ago, so I had a couple of Utah connections because my familiarity with Utah they have a very regimental promotional system.
Yeah.
And I was in California, and I got promoted to move here. And so I knew Paul had roots to Utah.
Yeah.
I don't think he ever lived here, but he had a connection.
Yeah.
And then Greg Balliff worked for me for a long time. He tells the story that he was the other point guard at BYU during Danny Ainge's years.
Oh, okay, that guy.
Yeah.
A little more forgotten.
Yeah, yeah. So I've got, some history. So I was here in, I can't even think of those years. It would have probably been 80, and my son was born in 80, so 87, 88, 89.
Oh, cool.
And then we left for a long time, but kept coming back for skiing. That's what got me hooked here.
Paul's a great guy. Their whole family, they're big PG&E guys.
Yep. No, I was in the same division as Paul, and he was my boss for a while, and still crossed paths with him in Cincinnati a little bit.
He's awesome. He's living in Holiday right now.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
He's back here?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to give me a new contact because I've obviously
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll introduce you.
Yeah.
Not introduce you, reintroduce you.
Yep.
That's really cool. So you grew up in the Bay Area?
Grew up in the Bay Area. Went to school in San Diego. Started with P&G in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Moved a couple of times, and then they offered me a unit manager job, which was kind of the first people management job here in Salt Lake, selling coffee to Mormons. I said,
Well,
sure,
wow.
I'll do that.
that was a difficult task right off the bat.
No, it was fun. It got us turned on to. I lived right behind Alta High School and skied at Alta and snowbird all the time, and that's what got us hooked.
We were talking just right before this. We were kind of joking about you're one of those like national CEOs that Utah suckered into staying because of the Park City connection. So
Yeah.
you're like one of those guys is like, yeah, I like Park City, and then you're like, okay, well, I guess we'll pull you in. You can run Purple. You have an incredible background. So
Well,
I want to
I've
go
been-
through this real fast.
Okay.
So, all right. So Procter & Gamble,
I was there about 20 years.
20 years.
Yep.
I saw that you're the CEO of New Balance.
Yep. I left P&G and moved to Boston to work for Gillette. And
Oh.
Then, 12, 15 months later, got bought back by my previous company.
They got
Learned
you.
a good lesson on how to leave a company. Don't burn your way out of town.
Yeah, good job.
And then I did a short stint at Tyson Foods in Arkansas.
Yep.
And then I was the CEO at New Balance for 12 years.
And then you're on the board of Welch's?
I'm still on the board of Welch's.
Still on
I've
the
been
board
there
of
about
Welch's.
13 years. Yep.
Holy cow.
Wow.
You're with all the cool companies.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
That's kind of how you roll.
Well, I don't know about that, but I've been lucky to be in the right place at the right time.
So you bought a place in Utah with no connection to Purple, and then they just...
No, we were here 20 years earlier.
Oh, you've been here for a long
So we've
time.
been here part-time all that time.
Oh, wow.
So we built a home in Park City about 19 years ago, and was kind of a weekend thing. And then as I came to the end of my time at New Balance, I technically thought I was going to retire.
Yeah.
So we moved full-time to Park City. I bought a bike shop because I'd saved too much for retirement. I needed a way to lose some of that money.
And that did it well, huh?
Yeah, that does it. It's better than a winery. It's a slower bleed
That's
than a
right,
winery,
that's right.
But similar. And then I got two other opportunities. I got to go run USA Cycling, the governing body for the sport. Basically, they picked the Olympians, they picked the World Championship.
That
and
is
then
incredible.
developed- yeah. It's super cool. There's 55 governing bodies. Two of them are here. Ice skating, speed skating is here, and climbing is in Salt Lake. Many of them are in Colorado Springs, where the Olympic Center is.
Yeah.
And then some of the rest of them are distributed around the country.
And you happen to be doing the biking one.
I did cycling, so it
Cycling.
oversees 5 different versions of cycling:
Oh,
road,
wow.
track,
That's cool.
mountain bike, all that kind of stuff.
Do you cycle?
I do.
A little
I
bit?
do. Not
Have you
as
been to the-
much, and I was never any good. But
Have
I
you
do
been to the
like
Tour
it.
de France?
Many times.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
That has me really jealous.
It's super
fun
cool.
to
That's
watch.
actually what got me into the sport. When I was at New Balance, I was trying to find a way to get on television in 40 countries, and I couldn't afford to buy local TV.
Yeah.
So we sponsored the American cycling team, and that put us
Oh,
That's so
yes.
on
smart.
television everywhere.
Very smart.
And I didn't know anything about the sport, and then I started hanging around it, and I got hooked.
Okay, it's going to put you in an awkward situation. I want to know who your favorite cyclists are of all time.
Well, a couple different genres. I'm going to choose to answer
Let's
it my
do it.
way. So, Taylor Phinney, who his father was Davis Phinney, a famous American cyclist, and his mother was also a very, very accomplished athlete. He's just the most if you go on Instagram, he's retired, but he is maybe the most colorful guy I've ever met, regardless of cyclists. There's some young athletes that I got to know better while I was at USA Cycling that I'm very fond of. If you paid attention to the Olympics this year, we won a gold medal in the women's road race for the first time since Connie Carpenter, who was Taylor Phinney's mother, 40 years ago. Kristen, and her last name is slipping my mind at this moment, but it'll come to me. She was a Wall Street PE person from Alaska.
That's right.
And said, I'm going to go race bikes. She didn't start riding
like 10
until she
years
was
ago.
20. She's 30, and she just won a gold medal.
That
First time in
in
40
10 years,
years.
you're like, I'm just going to go pick a new sport and just go win the gold medal.
Yeah.
You ever done that before?
No.
You haven't won a gold medal yet?
No,
Nana?
I haven't.
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean,
Not
I
yet.
guess I'm
If you were to win a gold medal, what would it
a
be?
little bit
in?
older than 20. I was listening to someone else talk about this on a podcast, and they were like, I would pick archery. Like, it couldn't be that hard. And I'm like, that would be so hard. Like, if I
Sounds
was
like the
going to
most
pick
ignorant
one,
statement of all time.
probably wouldn't be that. But I don't know. That's hard. Definitely not swimming.
What's the one where you?
I would tell you that from what I've seen both at New Balance and at USA Cycling, the separation between great athletes in your neighborhood or in your state and that top level is all in your head. It's not really talent. They're all incredibly talented. And it's an incredible single-minded focus to achieve at that level.
So you're saying that Anna has a shot?
I'm telling you, she's got a shot.
She's got a
So
shot.
what is
Do
it in? Cycling?
I think you got to pick your sport.
I got to just pick my,
Do whatever you
pick
want.
my sport.
What's
set
the
my
one where you
mind
like
to
ski
it.
and then shoot a gun? What is that one?
The
Biathlon.
biathlon.
Yeah, you can do that one. Sounds,
Yeah.
No, that's really
Sounds
hard.
random.
Have you ever tried to cross-country ski?
No,
Yeah.
Get your heart rate up to about 160.
Go
and
try it,
to
then
hold a
tell
gun.
me.
I would
Yeah.
be dead.
It's really hard. But I watched it at Soldier Hollow. They
Yeah,
have
that's-
the events
yeah.
there, and it's really fun to watch. But
It is fun to watch.
Did
it
that
would be
come out of
hard.
like some like Soviet era war or something? How did that even become a sport?
I don't know the history of that, but I would guess it had something to do with kind of country strength, and it's the
Something
Northern
going on.
Europeans that dominate that one because they're
Oh,
such
yeah.
good
Mm-hmm.
cross-country skiers.
Yeah, those are crazy. Every single time you watch like the Winter Olympics, and it's always the same people. It's like, I mean, U.S. dominates it in the summer, but in the winter, it's like these tiny countries. Norway, number one. Belgium. I mean, it's just like it's all the Nordics. Just take.
I will say, because I studied that a little bit while I was at USA Cycling, some of that is the youth programs that Norway in particular is used as the model.
Oh.
And it is, they do not let kids commit to a sport. I don't know if it's maybe 15, 16-year-olds, anything younger than that, they won't let them mono commit.
Oh,
and I think
really?
one of the problems of the U.S. system is you have to commit when you're 8 or 9.
Too early.
You either burn
That's
out or
true.
injure out because you're not developing as a full athlete.
Oh,
Too
that is
specialized.
interesting.
So yeah, Norway's used a lot as the example of
Wow.
how to use sport to grow healthy adults, and you end up getting great athletes out of it too.
Because Russia and China, don't they do the opposite? They're like, you're 3 years old.
I'm
You
not
look like you
familiar,
could balance
but I
pretty
don't
well.
think there's a whole lot of choice in the system. I
don't think
think
it's a
they're
little bit less.
recruited, and that's their work. Yeah.
What was it like running New Balance? That's pretty. I mean, we're just talking about this super hot brand right now. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a major. And by the way, quite a bit different than like a consumer packaged good product that you know from the days
Different
of
than
Gillette.
P&G.
and- yeah,
You know, the role
P&G.
of design and
Yeah.
quality is more of a determining factor. Joe Preston, the current CEO, he's the guy that replaced me, and Chris Davis, the chief marketing officer, who happens to be part of the family. They're doing a phenomenal job right now. They got great athletes. They got great product. Their collaborations are through the roof. It's humming right now. They're doing a great job.
Are they? I imagine they're probably just eating away at. Do you know what the current market share is that they have? Or
I
is
don't know what
is
the
that-
market share is. My guess is they're going to surpass $7 billion in revenue this year.
Holy
so
cow.
it's a big company.
How many of those billions are from you, Anna?
probably a lot.
How many of those shoes?
Oh
Probably a
my
few of those. You
gosh.
got a lot of those New Balance shoes.
I know, I do. I really love them. They're
I
my
do too.
favorite shoe for like everyday workout, also like everyday outfits. But also, I just bought a pair for this marathon I'm training for.
What marathon are you going to run?
Running the St. George. Well, I was supposed to run the full, but I got injured, so now I'm just doing the half. But
Yeah, half does not deserve the word just.
well,
I know.
Yeah.
I
would
know.
no
I'm
way I'd
trying
do
to
that.
say just so that I don't psych
Yeah.
myself out
That
and
still
freak
is
out. But
Still really good.
yeah, it'll be.
A couple of years ago, I got to do the Brooklyn half with my daughter, and
Oh,
it was such a
cool.
blast.
That
That's
is
so
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn, here's the ignorant part of me. I'm just like, do you have to like dodge the taxis or?
No,
the
no, the
You
course
probably
is,
shut
there's
down
a-
the street.
There's a big park in the center of Brooklyn. I'm forgetting the name of it, but most of it's through there, and it ends on the boardwalk. It was
Well,
great.
that's good.
Oh,
That's
cool.
good news.
That's
you come
fun, you
back with all
gotta
your
do it.
limbs.
I did. Yep, yep. A little tired, a little ego bruised, but otherwise good.
What was it like working with Paul Beck?
Paul was a couple of levels ahead of me in my career and was just such an inspiration of, doing what you say, making commitments, keeping them.
Kind person.
Kind
smart.
person, thoughtful, demanding, but with empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I could kind of guess that. We always had the 4th of July parties with my family, and we had a couple family members, a couple of my cousins, that had worked for Procter & Gamble, and one of them in particular got samples all the time. I don't know what specifically what his job was, but every year they'd have 30 extra, 40 extra samples, and they bring them to the 4th of July and say, all right, who wants
There
it?
you-
Raffle
and,
them
and
out.
all the women in my side of the family, they just loved it. And to me, I was like, I don't know what they're so excited about, but I mean, made it
I was
pretty
in
popular.
the food and beverage division, but the guy who had juice was the guy that had the diaper samples. Because that's real money. Moms need them. If you were the
That's right.
diaper salesman, you had pretty good samples.
You know how much money I could have saved if I was the diaper man salesman with my 7 kids? It was like tens of thousands of dollars. It's ridiculous. So tell me what's been like, the differences between being the CEO of New Balance versus being the CEO of Purple.
There's some parts that are very similar. The leadership parts are very similar. It doesn't matter really what the widgets are. The categories are incredibly different. And mattress is a
Yeah.
10-year purchase cycle.
Yeah.
And it's also what I've learned the hard way. It's the most delayable purchase you're ever going to make.
Yeah.
You don't enjoy the purchase. Where
Yeah.
in sneakers, it's the branding's on the outside, so it's a badge.
That's
And
right.
so being cool or being in fashion or being on trend is of value. The mattress you covered up, I'll bet you don't know what brand you have, and I'll bet you don't know when you bought it,
That's right.
because that's just that kind of category. Now, we're lucky that we have a really innovative product that it's an amazing category in that, what's the first thing you say to a spouse or a partner every morning?
How'd you sleep?
How'd you sleep? And yet the product that you sleep on has been disassociated with the quality of that answer.
Isn't that interesting?
Yep. Yep. So
Weird.
Purple, it was invented here in Utah by the Pierce brothers, and we just make a better product. It's expensive, but so what's a good night's sleep worth?
So at your house, do you not ever have to say that? Like, how'd you sleep? You just kind of assume.
No,
the
we
sound-
still say it.
You just
but,
say,
but
but you slept good.
when
good
we're on
last
the
night.
road, my wife says, I can't wait to get home and get to my Purple mattress.
Music to your
So-
ears, I'm sure.
Yeah.
How did those brothers create the concept of Purple? Where did it come from?
Yeah, they were mostly out. Well, they were completely out of the business when I took over, but I have met with them a number of times, or at least a few times, and they're material scientists. And so the core of this is the GelFlex grid material that we make the primary portion of the bed out of, and they invented that, optimized it, figured out how to make it stable, how to make it perform the way it does. And the key is it's when you go into a mattress store, they say, do you like firm or soft?
Yeah.
Well, what a tyrannical question. I don't know the answer. I just like to be comfortable.
That's
I don't
right.
want any pain, and I don't want to wake up because my hip is sore.
You're like, what century is this?
What Purple does is you don't have to make that choice. You're going to
Yeah.
get both. It's soft where you need it, firm where you want it, and you get a great night's sleep.
You had some,
And as you get older, you guys aren't there yet, but
Oh, I'm
what wakes
feeling it.
people up is pain. Hip pain, shoulder pain.
So I am there.
My arm goes to sleep, whatever it is. And I think with Purple, you're going to do that less.
So you've got a couple pillows that you brought here and graciously gifted me and Anna. Tell us about these ones right here.
Yeah, this is the Harmony is the model, and it's made of that same grid we make the mattress out of.
Oh, interesting.
And we think it's the best pillow in the world.
Really?
Period. And this is a newer product that is more of a kind of started out as an airplane idea,
Yeah.
but it's really a travel pillow that you can take with you. And some people are very particular. I realized when I got here that my pillow game was not A class, right? And I've upgraded it a bit. And this is one that lets you take your great Harmony pillow and take it with you.
Expand your team's skill set and drive conversions. Volcanic Retail University offers specialized courses to keep your brand ahead in the retail game. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and apply code PODCAST50 for 50% off.
Can I tell you, I'm kind of a pillow snob. So first off, I have my own weird routine all the time, and Jen thinks it's really weird. It's actually kind of cool, kind of normal, I guess. But I have one fluffy one that's typically like a feather pillow.
Yep.
And then I have multiple flat pillows that are like really old. They're like 30 years old. They've been like hammered down through like Boy Scouts and everything else. And I
You gotta replace that.
I know. But I actually have like a
No
routine.
shame.
No shame at all.
30-year-old pillow.
Hey, no shame. I'm talking about upping my pillow game. You're really helping me right now. But like I have like to the T, like times where I like rotate the pillow, bring him up, put it between my legs, one up under my arm. I know you think
You're a
I'm weird.
high maintenance sleeper.
I
Holy
am
cow.
high maintenance sleeper. Because the rest of life I'm not that high maintenance.
Yeah.
But sleeping, it is a big deal.
You want to be comfortable. I get it.
And you're always looking for the cool side.
I am always looking for the
This
cool
one's
side.
cool on both sides all the time.
That's right. Cool
Oh,
is the other side of the
perfect.
pillow.
Yeah, that's right.
So tell me, you're with Purple right now, very innovative brand. We talked about this. It felt like before Purple. It kind of felt like a stagnant category. It was like I couldn't tell the differences between any mattress brands before Purple, and then Purple came out with those really cool, innovative commercials with some of the gal from Studio C, and then. What was it, like Goldilocks or something like that? I don't know if you ever saw that one yet.
Yep.
Just
She's
really.
running again right now.
Oh, is it really?
We're still using that advertising.
Just really. By the way, how effective was that ad? Because I still remember it.
That's
At the
genius.
time, it was breakthrough, and it was actually done by a Utah company, Harmon Brothers.
Oh, yeah, we just had him on.
and- Yep, and we're actually inviting them back into the fold because I think we've lost our way a little bit as we've gotten bigger, and we've ended up unintentionally sounding more and more like everybody else in the category.
Oh.
And when I look back at the company's history, they were everything but the category.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, some of it was edgy, some of it was racy, some of it was sophomoric even, but it broke through. And Goldilocks was the strongest of all of them, so we're running her right now.
What type of return are you looking for when running an ad? I mean, and how do you like analyze the? Because you're talking about there's not like a call to action of like you better buy a mattress tomorrow, so it's kind of hard to quantify it.
Right.
So tell me like what kind of goes in your mind?
And it's a very long purchase cycle.
That's right.
I mean, most people, unlike sneakers or any kind of apparel or fashion, you're kind of always in the market. You might not be buying today, but you're going to buy in the next month.
Yeah.
This is a category where for 9 years and 9 months, you do not want to think about it.
Yeah.
Right?
That is
You want a
absolutely
great
true.
night's sleep, but you don't want to think about it. You cover up the branding with a sheet. You don't look at it. You don't know what it is. You don't talk about it at cocktail
Well, and they're
parties.
hard to get rid of.
They're hard. Well, we'll take yours from you, so that's not so
Oh,
bad.
you do?
but
Oh, that's
yeah,
good to
we'll
know.
take it.
Okay.
But
Do you like pick it up?
yeah, we
But
pick it
yeah,
up and take it. when we're
Really?
done.
Mattresses
Yeah.
don't they have like some regulation? You can't just drop them off at a dump.
It's
or,
different by state, but it's a
to
hard
pay.
product to get rid of.
Yeah, they
And,
are hard to get
they
rid
are.
of.
You can't just
But,
throw it out your window or anything.
No,
None of that.
no, you have to usually like pay to have someone haul
Yeah,
it off
typically,
for you.
if the person you bought your new one from doesn't take it, that you're going to have to spend $20 to get rid of it some way or
So
another.
tell me if this is normal. This is what I do with my mattress right now. I have to like it gets like too soft, maybe because I'm like older.
Because it's old.
Yeah. So I have to flip it on its side, and I have to like start wearing down that other side, and then eventually I just flip the whole mattress, and I know that's not the way this mattress is supposed to be built, and then I'm wearing down something that's like super hard for me. Are you telling me that like I'm not doing it right?
No, what I'm telling you is your mattress probably it's expired.
Okay.
It's time to upgrade.
Okay, that's what you're
From
trying
the
to tell
sound
me.
of your pillows, I'm gonna say it's
all right,
probably
all right,
expired.
All right. I'll try to up my game here a little bit.
I don't want to know how old your mattress is. If it's older
I
than
feel
9
like
years,
it's a new,
don't
no,
admit
I
it.
feel like my mattress is pretty good, but I mean it's not old, but I shouldn't be having to like flip it onto its side like every 6 months. It just seems a little weird.
Probably.
And those are really heavy to flip too.
You obviously don't have a purple mattress.
I
No,
don't.
It's time for an upgrade.
This is
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So when I go buy my purple mattress this next time around, what am I looking for? What are the advantages? What are some of the differentiators between purple and whatever the heck I have that I'm sleeping
Yeah,
on?
I mean the first thing you're going to get is a lot of some of the material in the mattress is uniform you'd find in any mattress, but the core portion you sleep on is a bigger version of the grid you see in that pillow.
Okay.
And it's a buckling column that will collapse where you need it to collapse and will stay firm or stay in shape where you need it to stay in shape. So it'll
Interesting.
keep your spine in alignment. because it's a grid, it pulls heat away from your body. The second thing that wakes you up after pain is heat. Your body temperature changes during the night.
Yeah.
You get hot, you're sweaty, you wake up, you got to go back to sleep again. That's a sleep interrupter. And so you're going to get better support, you're going to get better cooling, not by wind blowing through the mattress. That's what some people think with ours. It actually pulls heat away from you.
Oh, wow.
And it just comes down to finding the one that you feel best with, and then getting it shipped to your house, get your old one taken away, and
There's
get the
some
best
smart
night's sleep
brothers
you've
that
ever got.
created this thing.
They're very smart guys. Yep, they did a hell of a job.
Yeah. Holy
So what was
cow.
that like coming in as a CEO to a company that is in a category you've never been in, family business of these brothers? Was that a lot of pressure? How do you how'd you adjust to that?
No, I mean, I guess maybe from my experience at New Balance, which was 100% private, still as a private company. So I was used to working
Right.
for a family business. That one happens to be a very big one, but it's a family
So you're
business.
public with Purple.
We're a public company.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was my biggest learning. And there was a CEO between the brothers and me that
Right.
he did a nice job and kind of marshaled it through the growth of COVID. This was a heavily COVID-driven category.
Yeah.
Everybody nested,
Yeah.
whether that meant
Yeah.
buying a kayak or buying a mattress. You bought anything that you could do, by yourself or with a small group. So running a public company was new for me. I'm still learning. I've made a couple of pretty good sized mistakes in the process, but you do your best and try to get at the root of this is a great brand. And after 30 years of brand experience, you realize you can strip everything away, give me good people and a brand, and we can
Totally.
survive.
That-
Give me everything else and take those two things away, and it gets a little bit harder.
Like the name is really like creative and inventive. Just Purple, just taking an entire color and branding it as your company's name. Like I don't know any other companies that you might hear like companies like Orange Marketing, but just say Orange and that's my company
Yeah.
name. Like that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Why is it?
Yeah, how is it Purple?
I don't know the story. I've heard different versions, and I'm sure all of them contain some of the truth, and none of them contain all of it. The Pierces and I have never had a chance to talk about that, but I do know that it was quite a discussion and a debate at the beginning, and it caught on. And again, we talked earlier, the marketing work that was done early was back when viral was legitimately a viral thing and not
Right.
something companies sat down and planned to do. They created a huge wave and rode it to prominence very quickly.
It was like talking with Robert Peterson from Zag. He's like, we're like, how did you change your name from whatever to Zag? He's like, well, it was just the URL that was available. And we're like, oh, okay. And it makes
Yeah.
sense, right? So Purple maybe it was just
I mean,
the URL
you've
was
probably
available.
heard the story about Nike and the swoosh. It was like a $30 investment with some graphic artist in
Really?
New Hampshire, and that's how they came up with it.
I had
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking with the CEO of RC Willey on, and we were talking about during the pandemic how it was just unbelievable for their company. Just because, everybody's kind of
Yep.
sitting around, they're looking around, they're like, oh, what
Home
can I upgrade
improvement
here? I can't go
projects.
anywhere else. What else am I going to do?
Right.
So Purple probably saw that same thing.
We definitely did. The whole industry. I mean, it's at 25-year lows in consumption right now
Yeah.
because you had some demand pulled forward, a lot of it. It's a really long purchase cycle. So when you pull that demand forward, you got to pay for it for a while. And then, up until today, we got a half a point rate cut today, but the consumer's been pretty cautious, and I
Yeah.
think she's going to stay cautious for a while.
Yeah. So tell me kind of your thoughts behind like patents. I'd imagine you guys probably have a lot of patents.
We have a lot of intellectual property, and again, part of
Yeah.
what great brands have is, built on an idea or a set of ideas that they can try to protect themselves from long enough to get enough know-how that, I'm confident will keep the lead in this gel category of bed. This is the first new science since memory foam was created 25 years ago. Other than that, it's been optimization of or feature type innovation that's really smoke and mirrors. Gel is the next biggest innovation in the category since Tempur-Pedic invented memory foam, and I think we're going to have a history much like them where we grow to be a really strong brand.
Very, very
We're
cool.
still a very young company, very young.
So what is your presence like outside of the U.S.?
None.
It's all focused
It's all in the
domestic.
U.S. We have a
Is
little
it-
bit of business in Canada.
Is it primarily more out west, or is it just equal between east
No,
and
it's
west?
relative. I mean, our shares in Utah are the highest because of the history, and we tend to do a little better west versus east.
Oh.
But we've got 60 showrooms from Boston to Florida
Wow.
to Seattle to San Diego.
And you put them in. Are they all like attached to a mall? Or are they?
We have really two categories. They're either inside a mall or they're attached to a lifestyle center. This one out here in Riverton, I'm forgetting the name of that center, but the outdoor center.
Yeah.
We're either in those or we're inside malls.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Does one tend to perform better than the other?
You get a little bit. I mean, this is not these are non-destination locations in what is generally a destination category.
Yeah.
You don't randomly shop for mattresses. You make
Yeah.
the decision. You hold your nose and you go buy the product. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's that kind of. So by being in malls, what we can do is expose the company or expose the brand to consumers, because 95% of the people walking by aren't in the mall to get a mattress. They're there to buy a pair of sneakers or something else. But it lets us get people into the showroom, let them try the bed.
That's right.
We get into the consideration set.
That's
So
right.
2 years later, when they go to buy, they go, man, that
I
purple was
remember that
comfortable."
purple mattress.
Wow, that is a long life cycle.
It is 10 years. I mean, it's
That's
I'm
a
not gonna live
challenge.
You
to
know what
see-
you need to go into? You need to create some of these for sleeping pads for cots when you go camping. You could use a little purple one of those. couldn't
Yep,
you?
we've had a lot. We've tried for a while during the end of COVID. I had my son and I shared one of those adventure vans.
Yeah.
And we took a purple and got it cut down. So
Did you really?
Yeah, because the mattress.
That's
that
cool.
came
I
in
bet
was-
it's pretty good.
No, the one that came in the Revel was horrible, and you'd be better off to sleep on the floor.
That's right.
So yeah, we've got there's other places this can go. I think the companies, we have a good business in pillows. We have a good business in chair pads and desk pads and all that kind of stuff. But we got to have our core business healthy before I want to
Yeah.
spread out too far.
Okay, so 15 years down the road, purple's doing extremely well. It's in every third household in the U.S. Would it ever make sense from a strategic standpoint, or would it really hurt the branding or any other bad ramifications of trying to take some products maybe to outdoor stores like REI, where they're now on sleeping cots? I mean, what are your thoughts that go through something like that?
So one of the things let me roundabout answer your question. When I got here, we built a new management team.
Okay.
And the head of innovation is a guy named Jeff Hutchins that came from Skullcandy here in Utah.
Yeah.
And he's done an exercise with both his team and a lot of external either employees in other departments or people that don't work for Purple. And they've laid out kind of a concentric circle map. And if you put mattress right in the middle,
Yeah.
you say, where are all the other places this can go?
That's right.
Everything from OEM to the chairs we're sitting in to auto seats to airplane seats,
Oh, yeah.
to completely other products that aren't sleep related. And we have that map. It's under lock and key. And as
Yeah.
soon as the company's robustly healthy,
start hitting out
we're going to start going into that.
Yeah,
I
going in and out.
I learned a hard lesson that if you expand both geographically or categorically, when your core market's not robust, it's dangerous.
Very dangerous,
You
I
get
can see.
distraction. Two things happen. You get distracted, but the other thing is you don't have commitment to make the hard choice
Yeah.
when things get tough.
Yeah.
And so that fringe business gets thrown overboard and all that work is wasted. So you got to do it when you're in a position of strength, and we're not there yet, but we're getting close.
But eventually you can go in and I could sit on a purple chair at Delta Airlines instead of whatever the
Yeah.
nonsense they have going on right now.
The other idea that I'm really excited about that I just can't wait to try to make some progress is because of that long purchase cycle,
Yeah.
what are other categories that could shorten that purchase cycle dramatically?
That's exactly
Can
right.
I be in the calm business? The subscription. Put
That's
myself.
right.
I mean, why can't Purple be there? We know
That's
a hell of a lot about
exactly
sleep, and then I've got a subscription model inside this bigger business that takes some of those highs and lows and levels it.
Very methodical thinking. So when you're a CEO and you've been asked and tasked to take over a big brand like Purple, my background before retail was college athletics. So a lot of times I kind of think about when there's a new head coach that comes in, they pull in people like staff members from people they've worked with in the past, and they kind of say, hey, look, we'll keep 2 or 3 of you, but I can trust these guys. I'm bringing them in. Is that kind of what typically happens with CEOs that take over new companies, or does it kind of vary quite a bit? Or
If you love supporting women in business like I do, then you have to go check out what the ladies at Ivy City Co. are doing. They design high-quality apparel for every age and every stage of life. We're talking dresses, matching outfits for the whole family, wedding wear, and more. As seen on celebrities like Serena Williams and Joanna Gaines, this brand is well loved for a reason, and they offer a wide array of sizes from newborn to women plus sizes. And they have a great discount code for our listeners. Use code WARGAMES20 to get 20% off at ivycityco.com. One more time, WARGAMES20 for 20% off your order at ivycityco.com.
I've seen both, and I've done both. The team I have assembled now, none of them did I have. I think this is right. I didn't have experience with any of them.
Oh, really?
Beforehand, but I knew what I was looking for, and
Yeah.
I was looking for, as a young company, we had very talented people with a very strong culture, but we also had leadership that had never seen what next week's going to look like because they
Yeah.
hadn't been there yet. This was the biggest thing they had done so far.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to mix in people who had seen bigger or they'd faced this challenge before. And I mean, I'll give you a perfect example. I told you about Jeff Hutchings coming over from Skull Candy.
right.
I brought our chief operations officer. He was running a $7 billion multi-continent supply chain.
Oh, wow.
You know, we've just got a couple of factories. I knew that he needed to learn the business, but there was
Yeah.
nothing that was going to come up that he hadn't faced once before.
That's right.
And, you know, I don't care how smart you are, experience is a valuable
That's so
thing to
true.
have in your. So having a mix of that is kind of how this team got built.
So interesting. So kind of looking forward a little bit with Purple, with the team and the location. Does a company like Purple typically ask cities for subsidies in order to stay headquartered out of that city? Is it not?
We haven't. Let me
You
say it that
haven't.
way. We haven't. And your listeners may know that just 3 weeks ago, we just announced we're going to close our facility in Grantsville, Utah, and consolidate our manufacturing in Georgia.
Oh,
Now, I
yeah.
will tell you, we don't take decisions like that lightly.
I'm sure.
And I reached out to the governor. I reached out to the mayor of all the cities involved.
Oh, interesting.
I had both Congress people. In fact, Burgess Owens is coming to our Draper Innovation Center next month.
Oh, cool.
I mean, in my mind, there's not a lot of help they can give you at any
Yeah.
one moment, but you also don't want them surprised. This
Yeah.
is a great business climate. We did not want to close this factory.
Yeah.
The conditions of the category forced it. And so we got to be accountable for it, and we've offered every single person that works in Grantsville a job in Georgia.
Oh, how
now,
cool
I
is that?
recognize many won't take it. It's
But
not going to
still,
fit
that's
their
really good.
family. But if they want to, they've got financial support to get moved and to have
Really
the
cool.
same job with the same pay or better in Georgia.
And
And
it'd be-
hopefully they'll take us up on it.
Yeah, it'd be beneficial to have some of those same employees.
Yeah, it certainly
Really
would
bring
be if
that
it
down.
worked
Yeah.
for their family. Now, I
Where
recognize
in Georgia is it?
it's in McDonough, which is about 25 minutes outside of the airport.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah.
Cool, good for you. I
Greater
think that's really
Atlanta.
well thought
Yeah.
out.
It was just a newer factory that had better facilities.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why Jeremy wanted to start this podcast is just because there's so many amazing companies that are started, founded,
Oh, yeah.
headquartered in Utah. What's it like to be a part of a Utah company?
It's great. We live here by choice. My family and I live here by choice, and to be able
Yeah.
to work here as well, particularly in an environment now that's much more dislocated than it used to be. We think it's a great business environment. We think the talent here is fantastic. It's obviously a quality of life place that one of my secret recruiting methods is to say, look, right now you work Monday through Friday and then fly to your ski home in Colorado. Why don't you just live here?
That's right.
And in two of my management team, that actually worked.
Yeah, it's great. I saved the toughest questions for last. You're up in Park City. You've got a long weekend. You're just hanging out with you and your wife. What are some good underrated restaurants and things to do?
That's a good question. And there's a couple of restaurateurs up there that own quite a bit of product. And Bill White owns a number of restaurants up there, and he just opened, and I'm going to forget the name of it. It's where the Asian Bistro used to be. We just went there about 2 weeks ago. I got to think of the name of it. It's
pretty good,
fantastic.
though.
It's fantastic. That's a great restaurant. River Horse has been up there forever. That's a fantastic
Yep.
place. And then if you want a little bit more kind of budget bar-friendly place. We're big fans of the Boneyard. That's right across the
yeah.
street from my bike shop, and we,
Oh, yeah.
we hang out there quite a
So
bit.
you still have the bike shop?
I still have it.
What's
yeah.
it called?
Park City Bike and Demo.
Oh, I want to go up there
Yeah.
and check it out.
Ian Ruggeber's the GM. He does a phenomenal job.
Do you sell any Ari bikes?
Any what kind of bikes?
Ari, Fazari?
Fazari. We don't sell Fazari. We
Oh, you
stock
should.
Rocky Mountain, Ibis,
Yeah.
and Transition.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. It's been awesome getting to know you. I feel like Utah kind of is ripping off the rest of the country by having Park City instilling all these like national CEOs and like stashing them all up there and we're like, hey, by the
Maybe
way, we
that's
need you to
why.
build our company a little bit bigger.
That's why Utah has so many great businesses. It's Park City.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of clever ideas. I mean, this area in Silicon Slopes has got
Yeah.
a lot of smart young people, and that's what you need to drive a business.
Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you
thank you
spending
so
time with
much.
us.
Jeremy, thank you. Anna, thank you. Great to meet both of you.
You too.
Thank you.
Maximize your sales team's potential with Volcanic Retail University. Our courses cover everything from foundational retail knowledge to advanced strategies for established brands. Go to university.volcanicretail.io and use code RWG for 30% off.